What's going on, y'all? Again, it's Athletes Culture coming at you with another video. So as you guys have already seen, the Game 7 meltdown that the Philadelphia 76ers went through to the hands of the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, it's quite tragic, honestly. You know, we were all having big hopes that the Sixers were going to make it to the NBA Finals. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid were going to do it for Philly. You know, the process was going to be completed. However, it seems like the process is coming to an end. And quite honestly, it may be the end of Ben Simmons over at Nike. You know, his 5-year contract actually comes to an end this year, 2021. The contract he signed back in 2016, 5 years, $20 million, is going to come to an end with Nike. So it may not just be the end of Ben Simmons in Philadelphia, but also the end of Ben Simmons over at Nike. Now, will he sign a contract re-extension? Who knows? I haven't heard anything. I haven't even seen if anything has been signed. But that 5-year, $20 million, which potentially could have been $40 million if he had met certain stipulations by becoming an MVP or making an All-NBA first team, that did not happen. So, you know, what potentially could have been a $40 million contract seems like it's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of around 20, but for sure less than 40. You know, all said and done, Ben Simmons is a great talent. You know, there's speculations that he may get traded to places like Golden State Warriors. I've made videos on that previously. But then there's other reports too, you know, from the likes of people like Rashad Phillips, who knows his stuff. Shouts out to Yoda. You know, where he may end up being shipped in exchange for LaMelo Ball. We may see LaMelo Ball over in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid, which honestly I think is a better pairing with having LaMelo Ball and a Joel Embiid. They could play a very good, LaMelo Ball can, you know, still be the playmaker that Ben Simmons somewhat is and be able to shoot the ball, you know, put a lot of threat for the Philadelphia 76ers on the outside to pair in with Tobias Harris, and he brings a lot of flair and physique, flair and panache to the game that, you know, somebody like Joel Embiid would love to play with. But all said and done, you know, it's quite disheartening to see how things are ending for the process. And, you know, a lot of people forget the value that Ben Simmons brings to the team. You know, Ben Simmons with his defensive ability, 6'10", 240, can handle the rock, can pass. I mean, the guy had 13 assists in Game 7, 8 rebounds. It's just unfortunate that, you know, people who look at the stat sheet will see that he only took 4 shots and ended up with 5 points. Hey, that's who the guy is. I mean, we can't get mad at who he is. He's still a great talent. He still brings a tremendous amount of value. And if Nike were to let him go, I think that will hurt, because any, you know, company that picks him up is definitely going to get a huge asset. But we should see how he goes. I think he deserves a new change of scenery. Philly definitely is not the place for him. He's got to go to somewhere like, you know, and maybe you have to go over to Charlotte, a brand new start where he can be the guy, where he can be the center of attention there. Him having to split that isn't necessarily his style of play, isn't necessarily going to work. So if I'm the Sixers, I would definitely explore looking at getting LaMelo Ball. He's definitely in there in the top players of, you know, top 10 under 25. Pairing him with somebody like Joel Embiid, who's still relatively young, you know, you now are set up for the present as well as for the future. And I think that's the best way you have to build in the NBA, especially with the league getting younger and younger. You have to be ready for the present and you have to be ready for the future, all right? So we shall see. I mean, who knows? I think it's a very good possibility that Nike moves on from Ben Simmons, especially with the ascension of Devin Booker, another rising Nike star. So all their attention is going to go towards Devin Booker. Ben Simmons should definitely take a look at maybe choosing up with Adidas. Adidas made a serious push at him initially back in 2016. They may revisit those talks and be able to nab Ben Simmons, and I think that will be a great pickup for both parties. You've seen Ben Simmons, you know, a new up-and-coming star at Adidas, because I don't think with Damian Lillard now phasing out, you know, he's in his 30s, he's going to phase out. James Harden is going to phase out of Adidas. This is the right time for Ben Simmons and Adidas to make it work. You have a player that's under the age of 25. He still has a lot of potential, a lot of star power value that you can add to your roster to bring, you know, more people to buy it. And like I said before, he's a fashionista. You know, he's somebody that a lot of people gravitate to, has a big following, has the whole nation following him in Australia, following behind him. Great basketball community there. So why not make it work? So Ben Simmons out of Philly as well as out of Nike, I would say so. So definitely seeing Ben Simmons lacing up in Adidas going forward and possibly in a Charlotte Hornets uniform. But who knows? I want to hear what y'all have to say. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm out.